Good Friday morning, everybody. This is Grace, and I'm on camera. But I did because I'm going to talk about basic kind of fluffing stuff today. Yesterday, day before, whenever it was, I thought, oh my goodness, I need to take a little bit of a breather from this. What I've been doing, the videos I've been doing lately, even not even putting them up there. I've done some and not even posted them, but the topic is kind of like, whew, can wear you out. So yeah, a little fluffing stuff. And but one of the things is I did mention about having to change my glasses. Not having to, I did just because I wanted to, because I hurt this eye. Yeah, I'm saying it backwards, but this one is my left eye, and I think I dropped my cell phone on it while I was asleep Friday night. I fell asleep on the sofa, and I had my cell phone on the back of the sofa, and it must have fallen off in the night and hit me right there in this eye, in the middle of it, and woke up in the morning. I don't remember it falling on me. Must have been really sleeping hard. And then I woke up in the morning and looked in the mirror, and that was just all red, like a little square part, squared. It wasn't circular, it was squared. So that's what makes me think that. Anyway, I threw away the makeup that had been wearing the day before for the eye. I threw away that makeup. But anyway, hear my dogs? Yeah. So later on, oh boy, they're going to make a lot of noise. This one. All right now. But I did, later on the day, I thought I'd switch to my third pair of glasses. I have three, can't find the second one. And thought I'd switch to those. I don't really care for these too much. They like distort things a little bit. And I did try to return them when I bought them like a few years ago. And they said, oh, no, your eyes will adjust. I've been wearing glasses since I was 40, and it's never been that bad. But anyway, I tried it again, and they still wouldn't take them back. They still said that, my eyes would adjust, and I just stopped wearing them. I just did. And because I had two other pair, and I prefer ones that are tinted, and that's what I usually wear. But anyway, I try to get them tinted because if you can, I don't know if you can see it in this lighting in here, but when I got these glasses, I never noticed this before in any of my other glasses, but I'm nearsighted, and they do what I call a face within a face. Anything behind the lenses, this part of my face behind the lenses, anybody looking at me will see it as smaller than, and it looks like a face within the glasses, a face within a face. And so I wanted to tint them. I tried to back then, and they said that it was almost the cost of or maybe even more than the cost of the lens itself, the lenses themselves. So the other day I went because the little thing right here, one of them had fallen out. I went to that same, not the same store, but one of the other ones. And the guy told me, he was kind of surprised by some of the stuff I was telling him about, trying to return them and everything. He was a young guy, and he said that these days it's so popular for people to get their glasses tinted because they work on computers, is what he put it. That it's really inexpensive. It's $5 for each lens. He said, unless, of course, they have to replace the lens because it's too scratched or something like that. Yeah. It's probably going to wind up being the same cost as the lens. Each one. But I also told him that I have to wear them down like this because that's the only way I can see. And he was saying, yeah, they really messed up and, stuff like that. And he couldn't believe that they wouldn't take them back. And all that, but I was supposed to do it yesterday, didn't do it, take them down there, and because I can't find my second one, and I only have the third one, the one that I switched from. Yeah, so eventually, see, this is fluff and stuff, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had a doggy emergency here, but anyway, not emergency, they just needed some water, so I did put a little visual effects on it, and this video, the first part of it, and it made one side of my face darker, and so I put a light on in here in the other room. But looking at it right now, it shows me as having really dark circles under my eyes, which I don't. And you can see what I'm talking about, the face in the face. But anyway, I've noticed since I switched these glasses, actually, and don't think I've lost my mind, it underneath my eyes isn't so dark. And you would say, okay, your other ones were tinted, so you were seeing that way. But I have to take my glasses off to put makeup on and stuff. So, or to look close at my face, I have to take my glasses off, so I wouldn't be having them on. But anyway, I don't have any makeup on my eyes because of that problem with this one. Until, and I mentioned I threw the makeup away and everything that I was using, but I'm not going to put any makeup on until I am sure that, my eye is healed. And I don't know if that was the cause. But anyway, you hear my dogs. Yeah, they're all riled up this morning, and as usual, so no little distractions. But now about other things. This weekend, the holiday weekend here. I don't know where you live. It's not going to be a holiday unless you live in the United States. But anyway, 3-day weekend, and I asked Adam what he's planning on doing for it, and he said that he wants to go to Costco. And I'm like, that's his whole plans for a 3-day weekend. Everything. I'm like, okay, dude. But I'm like, are you serious? Going to Costco, because right then I looked down, there was an ad for a different store, and it said, it was like the holiday weekend sale, and I went, wait a minute, that's going to be kind of wild going there on a holiday weekend. And I already call it the jungle. That one, it's just so many people go to it. It's just unbelievable. On a regular day, not around a holiday, not around anything, it's just unbelievable to just get through it. The parking is expansive, and you have to park real far from the store just to get in. But he wants to go, and I said, whatever. I really don't feel like going anywhere because it's, I just don't feel like doing it this weekend. It's usually just too busy to go anywhere all around. So we'll see what we do, and I know I'm not going to go back outside and do anything after all. I get these little bug bites just walking out the door, it seems like. And so that's a good fluff and stuff ramble, right? Okay, a little more fluff kind of thing. I don't know. Recently, I had found this show on Netflix, and I didn't watch it because it's a flipper show, flipping houses show, and I've watched them. Adam liked them for a while there, and I'd watched some, and it was just like they bought houses and they sold them for outrageous prices, and it just didn't seem real. Is that real to me at all? And but then I ran across this one called Texas Flip and Move, and I didn't watch it first, and then one day I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a try just out of curiosity. And he was going to work, and I watched it and I fell in love with it. I really did. It's so cool. It's just it's out of Fort Worth, and people in Fort Worth are not like in Dallas area. I'm in the Dallas area. They're much more, to me, laid back, much more Texan, really. And so it's really cool show to me. And my accent when I listen, my accent becomes accent. When I watch them, they are very Texan. That's what I have to say about it. And so I got hooked on it, and I saw some on YouTube, and yeah, they got them deleted. But so I watched some of them, and the thing I think I like most about it is, see, like in this area of Texas, the Dallas in the area, it's a lot of transplants, from different states and different countries. And seriously, I used to always say, and I still say this every once in a while, that if you came to this area of Texas, I'm probably the only true Texan you'd see, because born and raised in Texas, because it's a lot of transplants. And my experience with them, with everyone that I've actually met in person that came from a different state, mainly states, is that they think Texans are a bunch of dumb country hicks. And they have an attitude like they're smarter and they're this. Well, first of all, thinking that way proves you're not. So don't get me on a rant. But yeah, I like the show because they're so down home and everything, and down to earth. And here in this area, people are not down to earth. They're not at all. They're like it's such a mix that they're more. A friend of mine who is also from Dallas area. She actually from Dallas. She calls them snooty, and yeah, it's such a big difference. And then where I grew up, I didn't grow up in Dallas area, and I grew up in Texas, but not in Dallas area. And people, they're much more open and honest, and it's not like you have to sit there and wonder what are they up to, what's up their sleeve. A lot of people from one community might figure out what I'm saying. And they, it's honesty. It's, hey, they call it as they see it. If it's something negative, they'll say it. If there's something positive, they'll say it. But it's not that, oh, I'm going to be sophisticated. That's what I used to call it years ago, that people think that being sophisticated is to be lying, to manipulate, and stuff like that. No, it's not. But anyway, more on, now I get even more, a little more serious. Okay, brings me to communities. Yeah. Yesterday I did a little video in this genre, I guess. I don't even know what you call it, the community. I've heard one person say self-help. I've heard another person say PTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder with C, complex. I don't know. I don't know what they call it really. But I'm not a joiner kind, and so I don't really feel I'm part of that community, and I'm not a joiner as it is, like I said, because when I first started on YouTube over 2 years ago, I was just watching, and I only knew basically two communities, and that was the ones that did um, haulers. What is it called? I can't remember, but they basically went and bought stuff at different places, and they resellers. That's it, resellers. And I was looking for antiques, stuff about some antiques that I had bought when I ran across that. And then I ran across ones that were doing shopping hauls, like Dollar Tree shopping hauls. And that's all I knew for a while. Then I saw the beauty community and on and on. But I'm not a joiner, so. But if I find one, if I find a different community, I'll watch a few and see how I like it. Just see, which videos. For me, it's like watching TV. And speaking of which, Adam has found that he likes the RV people. I first started liking the RV people probably about a year ago. I ran across one or two, and I found them interesting. So I watched a few and everything. And then he started liking them. He likes to watch them on TV. And so we do that every once in a while. And we were doing that yesterday. And he really likes some of them. So, hey, I'm not that into it because my experience is, I think people in this community, whatever it's called, understand that if you have a one-way street kind of thing, like if you watch somebody and they don't watch you, there's a tendency for some of us to do that, and it's not a good thing, to have a one-way street. And that was my experience with. That's my experience with more than that community, more than RV community. And of course, it could be they just don't like what I do. But you get into a one-way street kind of thing, you're watching them, they're not doing, no, I'll do it for a little while just to see, if I'm interested in the person and watch them. And then if it goes that way, I lose interest because of that tendency. I know what it is to, find somebody and you really like them and they don't return it. So, but he watches them, so I'll watch them with him. Like I said, it's like watching TV. But anyway, like I said, I'm really not a joiner, and I don't have an RV anyway. So, we used to move around a lot, but yeah, I kind of like it for that, just watching, for when they show where they're going and things, and that's why I like to show. Instead of me, I show where I'm going. People see what I'm doing, the places around me, along that line. So, hey, it works for me. Okay, I'm having allergy problems this morning. I did a little video clips yesterday, and it was just all allergy attack coming on. But anyway, yeah, this community, whatever it's called, I watch mainly two people, really, two people. There's another one, but she doesn't do much. But mainly two people, and as it went, I knew that people were doing videos because I ran across it. Basically, it recommends videos or something. Must have been something in one of my titles. But it was a while back, and it was somebody. It was about people who were doing things on narcissism or narcissists. And that's something that's an interest to me, of course, why. But it was mainly people who seemed more like they were doing it for, they were the big channels, I'll put it that way, the really big channels. And I didn't see any kind of community involved with it, but I enjoyed watching one of them. One of them I really enjoyed watching. Some of them I did, the rest of them really didn't care for. And they seemed very independent. Like I said, no community. And then I started doing, change and said, I'm going to start doing my own videos like this, just for me, really. And then I noticed that of course, starts recommending things. And I noticed that there was a community. And so I started, watching the people that would show up and watching some of the community, and really like two of them, like I said. And but my experience with from past other communities and everything is, I don't like watching those that are. I mentioned in a comment the ones that are bigger, but it's not really the bigger ones. It's not them. It's the because they're really not in the community to me. But the ones that are say mid-range, boy, my accent coming back. So, but mid-range, yeah, those are the ones that I tend to stay away from because it's just it becomes like a um, the term I want to use I don't want to say on camera, but it's so much gossip and so much they're going to gang up against some people, or they're gonna they're going to steal ideas from people. Somebody that's a small channel does something, they take it and run with it, and that's my experience in other communities. And so far, I've seen it in this community too, and that's that bothers me. It does bother me because this is a community about people who have suffered from various types of use, being used and abused, and that's just not to me. That's just hey, no. So anyway, so I'm not a joiner, and but there's a weird shadow right here. So anyway, now on to something else that I do want to start doing. Okay, that weird shadow was getting to me too. Yeah, it's a fluff and stuff kind of thing. But anyway, like I said, I'm really not a joiner, and that's one of the main reasons. I've never been a joiner though. So my whole life, there is something about, and some of us understand this about finding anything that you enjoy or that you idolize in a way too much is not necessarily a good thing. Well, it's not really a good thing all around. Of course, that's my opinion. Read the disclaimer in the description box below. You know how to say that. And this video on YouTube. But anyway, that's something I've always steered clear from, and not even consciously aware that I was doing it when I was a child, is to not join things. It's kind of like putting certain people, because when you have like a community, there's going to be somebody who thinks they run it. I've never seen anything different, and in any way different. So it's like they're putting themselves up on a pedestal and that they're the leader, and I'm not into that kind of game and that kind of stuff. No, no, thank you. Like I said, I'm a person that has a healthy self-esteem. You might not believe it, but I do. I used to not, no, but I don't see anybody as higher on the totem pole or lower on the totem pole. I don't see the totem pole. So we're all equal. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but I am not going to be a follower or, a groupie kind of thing. But I just don't join. Anyway, move on to something else. This kind of leads into it. I've been taking out some books, going through some books that I had, and I took out some that were on basically love addiction. And that's part of it. That kind of thing is part of that. But I was looking at them yesterday. I'd taken them out and, just found a few of them. And I was looking at them yesterday, and I was kind of chuckling about it because they're all published in the 90s. One was republished from the 87 to the 97, I think. But they were basically all written, published in the 90s, And so, yeah, back then people talked about love addiction. I think these days that people see it more as, in a way, blaming a victim. I don't necessarily see it that way. I'm one who steers clear as much as I can of blaming any victim because I don't do that. I think it's wrong, that kind of thing. But I think it's important to study this other side, because if you go to a counselor, many of the counselors will say, like if you've been in an abusive relationship and you ended it, many of them will say, take at least a year off to find yourself with that, who you are without that person or those people, if it was a group, and learn who you are, work on yourself. And they'll say, work on yourself. And they're not really blaming you. I used to be offended by that, hearing it, saying that like they're blaming you, but they're not, because we're not perfect. We're not perfect beings, so we all need to work on ourselves at some point. So I think it's important to understand like a love addiction, and to get right to it, a love addiction, and work on yourself. And I think that's part of it. That's part of the, you know, learning to be healthy, part. I'll be back. Okay, so I took out these books, and it was, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, something like that, books. I haven't gone through the rest of them. I know I have more, but like I said, they were from the 90s, published in the 90s, 1990s, of course, 1990s. But some of them, they go back and, all the way back to like Socrates and, Plato, that era, that time in history. But mainly, like one of them talks about when love become, romantic, kind of romantic love, um, was more acceptable, was in the 12th century. And I think, anyway, I think it's important to see how things have progressed and, see where they are today. But you need, my personal opinion is, you need to know the past. You need to know what led up to, this way of thinking. And as it is, the way of thinking in current times could be wrong. It might look like progress, but it actually could be just wrong. People don't have it right yet. So anyway, I think I'm gonna do a video or two like that about that once I finish, reading, and maybe do some book reviews or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. So I don't like making promises that I might not keep. And I'm not passive aggressive if you watch my last video. Anyway, I think I always say summing up. I don't know why I say that, but wrap up this video with just talking about, it's really hot. The other day our AC went out, kind of the downstairs central unit went, it just lost it. And it got 85 degrees. I was gone by that time out of here. But it's working fine now, although it's still, we bought all these new blinds and everything. Some of them just warped, and they're going to replace those with wooden ones. Yeah, luckily it's in 2 different rooms, and it's not in the central room where, they're off. You don't see them in comparison to the other ones, but really, I mean, what is it going to be? If you get a curtain, it's going to make those warp. Oh, it's a mess. They were expensive too. We already had blinds, but we got ones to, to take out more of the sun. Messy. But anyway, the heat's going to get even worse. It was supposed to be the 4th when we were going to have our first 100. I think it was our first 100 of the year. I think there might have been one other day. But after that, it's just going to be hundreds for a while. Mainly in the hundreds. That's Texas. That's what happens. So yeah, Monday. I don't think we're going to barbecue. Nope. Summertime is a time when people start feeling cabin fever in this area. I mean, some people are used to it. They get out there, but not me. Not this one. Anyway, okay. That's enough for today. I hope y'all all have a good weekend or, holiday weekend, whichever one. Talk to y'all later. Bye.